Hi there and welcome back to Yum Paleo. My name is Jack and today I'm going to be making some fish wraps. So they'll be kind of in like a tortilla wrap. So I'll run through what we need for the wraps first. So what I've got here is, I've got 6 egg whites here, so just taking the yolk out. I've got 4 tablespoons of almond milk. I've got 4.5 tablespoons of coconut flour. So it's nicely really fine flour that we're going to mix in. I'm going to add a tiny, half a teaspoon of cumin, about 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and about half a teaspoon each of ground pepper and sea salt. So this, I'm going to put all this in this bowl and then start whisking it up. We're going to leave that for 10 minutes then, just so the coconut flour can really soak up all the egg and all the other flavors in there. And then for the fish wrap, what we're going to put inside is, I've got 1 pound of red cod here. Now you can use any flaky white fish you can get your hands on, but because I'm in New Zealand, red cod's really popular, so I'm going for that today. And then what I'm going to put in, I've got 5 lovely tomatoes here, which I'll cut up into chunks, and they'll just go into the pan along with, I've got 3 zucchinis here, or courgettes if you call them that. So I'll be cutting them up as well as I've got 4 cloves of garlic here, which I will cut up and fry along with the fish as well. So first of all, I can't forget as well, I've got some coriander here. So I'll chop that up finely and sprinkle that in with the filling, as long as with some lime juice there, so that'll be a nice addition to give it that little citrusy kick to it. So what I'm going to do now is just going to get a whisk, and then I'm just going to add all of this together. So the coconut flour, the almond milk, the egg whites, do half a teaspoon of cumin, a very small amount of cayenne pepper, so just a pinch because it's quite strong, that stuff. Then I'm just gonna put a bit of pinch of salt, pinch of pepper. Then all we're gonna do is just whisk this up, just get it all nice incorporated into each other. Then once you've got it all mixed up well, we're going to leave that for 10 minutes. Now it might look a bit lumpy at the moment, but just keep going at it and it should get to a really nice consistency. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's nicely mixed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for 10 minutes, and while I'm leaving that, I'm just going to cut up these into small chunks. So I'll see you back in 10 minutes when this is ready, and then we're going to put that in the pan. We're just going to let it cook on each side, take them out, put them onto a separate plate, and then cook the fish along with the vegetables to go with it. So I'll see you back in about 10 minutes. Hi there and welcome back. So the mix has been sitting there for about 10 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is I've just started to preheat the pan, and I'm going to chuck a bit of oil in there, and then we're going to start making the tortillas. Then after that's done, I'm just going to put them onto a plate and get started on I've cut up the tomatoes and the zucchinis here, and I'm going to chuck them into this wok behind me just to cook through while I cook the fish in here. And then I'll put them all together, chop up the coriander and add some lime juice to it. Then it'll be all ready to go. So what I'm going to do is just add a splash of olive oil into this pan. Not too much. So I'm just going to spoon some of this mixture down. Okay, so just make sure you spread out the mixture. Then once it starts heating up on one side, we'll flip it over and do the other side. And then once you've used all your batter to make the tortillas, we'll take them out, put them on a plate, and we'll get started on the fish. Okay, so now I've got all the wraps done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get started on cooking just frying up the tomatoes and the zucchinis in this pan behind me. So I'm just going to chuck a bit of oil in the pan. Make sure that heat's on low. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that in there behind me just to cook through a bit. And then what I'm going to do in here is start with the fish. So again, just a tiny bit of oil. I'm just going to cook the fish until it starts breaking up. And then you can just start to break it up with the spatula. And then we can start adding some pepper and salt and some lime juice to it. So just let this pan heat up for a second. Let the fish start cooking. And also I'm going to chop up some of this coriander now to sprinkle in with the fish. And I've also chopped up some garlic here, so that's 4 garlic cloves I've chopped up. And I'll cook that along with the fish as well. So just keep an eye on the tomatoes and the zucchini. Now you can do these in the same pan as the fish, but I just wanted to get them both cooked and then add them together instead of just waiting for them all in one pot. Okay, so this pan's heating up nicely. Just going to add a bit of salt and pepper to the tomatoes and the zucchini. Okay, so I'm just going to start moving around the fish now. Start breaking it up as well when it starts to cook. Okay, so while that's doing, I'm just going to get started on chopping up the coriander. So just make sure you cut the leaves off and leave the stems behind them. About there will do. Just chop them finely and then we can add it to the mix at the end. Okay, so the fish is starting to go white now, which shows me it's cooking. Just flip it around. Just leave that side to cook for a bit. Just going to check on the vegetables. Great. So I'm actually going to add the garlic into this now, with the fish. And just make sure you move it all about in there. You can maybe even start breaking up the fish as well. It will just naturally come to that point where it's starting to cook. You'll be able to just move it around with the spatula and it will just break apart. So once it's cooked, then do that, and then we can start adding the vegetables into the mix. Okay, so I'm happy with that fish now, so what I'm going to do is you're going to add all of the tomato and the zucchinis in. You just start mixing it round. Okay, so now that all the zucchini and the tomatoes mixed in, I'm just going to start to add just a little bit of salt and a bit of pepper. I quite like pepper, so I'm just going to add a nice serving of that, and then I'm going to add some lime juice as well. Okay, so now we're just going to mix this around, just let it sit in that heat for a bit. Okay, so I think I'm ready to plate up now. So I'm just going to take one of the wraps here. Just take some of this mixture. Just place it on top. As well, you can, if you have any of this left over and you don't have enough wraps, then you can have it on the side. I'm just going to have it like that, and then sprinkle a bit of coriander over the top. And we're all set to go. So these are great food for, like, say if you got a little party going on, just make some fish wraps. So there we have it. It's a red cod fish wrap with lovely tortillas. So I hope you enjoy it, guys, and I'll see you here for another recipe. See you soon.